What's up, ladies? It's me, Heartthrob, Dave Franco.
100%. Tell me where your bike is. I'm going to it.
Got a bike. I got lots of money.
I stole it.
Married to Allison Brie because I'm super cool. She's older than me. It's hot. Hi, I'm Dave Franco.
And I'm Emma Roberts because I'm not a man right now.
And we're the Ghouls next door. Welcome.
I get on your bike. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
I'm such a good girl, but then just tonight I'm not.
Lucky for me that I happen to be reading your favorite book.
Yeah. Strangers didn't give it to you.
It's not like the internet's manipulating us for views.
That's not what it is, you know?
Yeah.
It's totally great. It's totally fine, except for all my friends who are backstabbing jerk people.
Apparently mine are too, and one of them died. So.
Spoilers,
because today is our last episode of There's an App for That. So if you're wondering...
What? I thought you were going to say last episode
ever.
And I was like, I knew that's not what you were going to say. But it also, hit me, and I was like, what? Am I getting broken up with on air?
No. Yeah, I'm too cool for you, sorry.
I gotta go be Dave Franco.
No, it's our last of the There's an App for That. And on today's episode, we're talking about manipulation and views and likes on social medias.
Yeah. I was manipulated to be blonde right now, and
I was manipulated to be a man.
Yep. So
apparently Kat says I look like Antonio Banderas. So if you're listening and you can't see us, please watch
it was because you looked down and you looked all hot and you were a motorcycle guy. Or you were a spy.
Yeah.
So that's what made me think
Spy Kids Dad?
It made me think Spy Kids Dad.
Well, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about the dangers of social media and its influence on young people and just people in general, and how you need to know that people are watching you. And that's not a game.
Yeah.
This is the real world, man.
Carol Baskin.
What?
What is it? How the dance?
Facts. Yeah, facts. We tell you facts. All the facts.
All right, y'all. You know how we usually do it. I say words about history stuff, and then Gabe says stuff about media analysis, and we both talk at the same time sometimes. It's a grand old situation.
It's totally cool.
Yeah, it's great. Oh, I'm so not used to I love talking with a deep voice, and I'm not used to not being the one doing it.
You have to be the lady now.
And it's messing me up. It's
Switching
cool.
it up.
Fine. And so, lady time. But yeah, okay, well, that's not what we're talking about. But hello. We're going to talk about, manipulation and, how apps play their part in that. Everything, people get bold on the internet.
Yep.
They're like, wow, I can't see that person's face. I can't see the pain
that my words are causing.
Yeah, I don't see the impact of the situation that I'm in. So people get bold and they say things that they would not say to somebody's face, essentially, through the internet. So we get situations where in the movie that we watched, that people are like, yeah, kill him because it's not real. This isn't real. This is fake. This is TV.
Yeah.
The consequences of this are zero. Because I am detached from it, it's on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's a thing that we've seen as the internet's developed. I know that when I was a middle schooler and chat rooms existed, I didn't understand that those were real people.
Yeah.
Everyone lied. I was just yeah, it's fun. This is not real. Or the people who comment on posts on the internet, through on Facebook and stuff, and they don't know those people, but they antagonize and kind of stir the
accounts,
pot.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So trolls.
Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially the internet gives us this power to kind of be at a step back from everything that we're saying. It's in a different plane of reality. And when you see apps that kind of manipulate us in this way, it's that we don't realize the permanence of the internet, especially the people using them, which is generally young people. So you have, you know, the apps that are popular today. We have TikTok. Gabe and I are learning TikTok.
You're trying.
We did the whole dancing time.
Yeah.
It was good. She's way better at it than me, but it's fine. So, but it's like you get these challenges and you get these like essentially sort of like dares. You get like these calls to action of sorts where you're trying to achieve whatever other people are achieving through the internet because it brings this kind of virtual acceptance where it's like you're cool. You get the satisfaction of likes and like in certain apps funds. Yeah. Where you can get money as a result of the goofy or dangerous things that you're willing to do. And there's something just like really like instant gratification about that. I'd argue it's like similar to gambling, where it's like you're getting the thrill of taking a risk combined with the reward of money or popularity or fame, what have you. So we have influencer culture.
Which reminds me to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks. Continue.
But yeah, so it's like we do a lot to get that satisfaction. You dress like Dave Franco. I was an alien before. I was literally bedeviled. It was terrifying. Like, we've done lots of costumes that have been for the purpose of finding likes, fame. Yeah. People looking at us, telling us we're great. Yeah. These are the things we want.
And celebrities are more accessible now than they've ever been. Especially like there's a bunch of them on TikTok and you can like tag them and share, or like we tweet at them whenever we dress up like them.
Yeah, and they might actually like say something.
Who knows?
Yeah, eventually. Come on, Dave. Come on, Emma.
Hey, Dave.
Let us know. But yeah, so we do these things and we don't really realize the permanence of them. Once we put something on the internet, it's there. If you do something in an app, for example, Snapchat or TikTok, someone can save that video before you're able to permanently erase it. So once you have put it into
the app itself saves it.
In like the metadata and then basically in the cloud, and it all connects together unless you have certain like privacy settings on your computer. So there's this idea that what we're doing is not permanent, and it's very dangerous for people who are very young because they don't understand the permanence of life in general. Like they do not have the cognitive development established to fully process the severity or permanence of what they're doing, or even the danger of what they're doing. They see the reward, the instant gratification. So, I mean, we've seen a lot of trends that go around, specifically through apps. If we're looking, TikTok's a big one. The one before that was Vine. The one before that was Periscope.
Periscope was after Vine.
I don't know the chronological time.
It was Vine, then it was Periscope, then it was Musical.ly, which evolved into TikTok. And TikTok actually is like created and owned in China, which is like why the U.S. government is actually investigating, because the Chinese government uses it to kind of control and manipulate certain posts so that they can, because that's kind of what they do. So like they're storing everyone's data. And now that there's this influx of people on TikTok because we're all stuck inside, everyone's getting all your deets. And so you think Facebook was doing it. Now TikTok is 100% doing it, and it's, backed by foreign countries.
Yeah. And tying into that, I read an article today specifically that was like a big danger with these apps is that it's taking our information and our data, and these challenges are asking us to put personal information on the internet. So for example, I've seen the Facebook one where it's post 5 pictures of you and your spouse. Post the 5 cars that you've owned in your life. People don't like realize not to put their license plates in there. Post your favorite restaurants, stuff like that, where it's just like those are things that if anyone was so interested could be used as ways to track you. As we went in through our surveillance episode, it all kind of ties together as we go along.
Your boyfriend tagged us in an Instagram post that was like your top 4 nicknames, the top 4 like 4 places you've lived, 4 your favorite food. And it's all these questions. And I joked with them because I was like, these are literally like answers to some people's security questions. Like if you're trying to reset someone's password or get into their bank account. It's like, none of those were my answers, but it's like, you're the 4 places you've lived. Like your loan company is like, hey.
What's your mother's maiden name?
Yeah, like you're just literally putting all your deets in there, but you're like, haha, I love yogurt. You know? And so I teased him about it. I still did it, but I was like,
yeah,
sure, here's my information, everyone. And he was like, oh man, you're right. That's good.
That's really funny. But yeah, like that's the thing. It was an article on the news recently, like within the last 5 days, where it's like, yes, everyone who's enjoying the TikTok challenges, everyone who's enjoying like the Facebook posts to like keep us sane.
Yeah.
You are posting all your personal information on the internet.
Yeah.
And potentially giving people who are very bored at home right now because they're also working remotely and maybe have less things to do because everyone's inside.
Yeah.
A nice open doorway to all of your like life.
Yeah, to your identity.
You know, I was bored. Hackers.
Yeah.
Hackers are bored right now. And they have the ability to get up all in your stuff because everyone's on the internet right now because there's nothing better to do.
And apparently it's like, they said there's like people are, because we're all trapped inside, we're all doing questionable things. Like there's more people smoking pot or drinking or masturbating or whatever it is. And
doing
it's like
things without covering their webcam.
Yeah, the webcam is right there. It's watching you. And if some of the things that happen in the media that we'll dissect, if those were to come to light, it's like, what would you do to keep some of the stuff that you do in the privacy or what you perceive to be the privacy of your home? What would you do to keep it private?
And people will likely do a lot of questionable things to do that. But specifically, I guess we'll like briefly go through some challenges that kids nowadays go through. A lot of them are fun. They're dancing.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Savage one that Gabe and I are trying to learn. It's there was the Old Town Road one. There's a dance to that. You know, there's like different trends of songs that go through. A lot of it's like songs from
the pass the brush challenge for makeup and
or like pass the lingerie, or you throw it and then you're all like hot.
Yeah, the burlesque challenges.
Yeah.
So there's like
there's fun
a bunch of different ones. Yeah.
But then there's ones that like in the past specifically are most of the ones that have been like dangerous. But there are like others that have like come up, especially with like the really younger people who are just not aware of what chemicals should not be ingested, that you shouldn't play with fire in your mouth, or fire in general.
Or like when they used to do the choking game where they would like choke themselves out to get high.
That comes up every once in a while.
Yeah.
So it goes away, it comes back, goes away, it comes back. There was the Kylie Jenner lip challenge where they would suction their face and like hurt themselves. Specifically, I looked some of them up. And I mean, honestly, a lot of them aren't dangerous, but there are a handful that are.
Tide Pod Challenge.
The Tide Pod Challenge, obviously. You are ingesting dangerous chemicals. Should you be doing that?
Forbidden food.
So the biggest ones that like kind of end up being things that you should not do. There's this fire challenge where basically you play with flammable substances and try to get like a fire reaction. So I remember doing this in like, well, I didn't do it because I didn't have that science teacher, but kids in my school did it because there was a science teacher that did this cool flame experiment where you put something in your hand and lit it on fire, but he was a trained professional who knew what he was doing and how to put it out. So like they're attempting to light fires in their hands, expecting them to quickly go out. I saw one that was on TikTok where it was in their mouths. It's dangerous. You're going to burn off your eyebrows or the inside of your throat or other things because you don't know what you're doing because you're a child and you're doing it improperly.
In middle school, there's kids who would like use the Axe body spray and they'd spray it on your clothes and then light it because it would go out really quickly.
Yes.
Nuts. Don't do that.
I do remember that. I think that it might be similar, the fire challenge
like
that
the
they're
whole
doing.
Idea,
because they spray something in their like mouth and breathe fire, and it's super dangerous.
No, thanks.
There's the gallon smash thing, where you're in a store and you throw it on the ground and it smashes and you run. Fun a little bit.
Thinking about now in our COVID-19 world, remember the licking the ice cream thing kids were doing? They would open the ice cream, lick it, and then put it back. People are getting arrested just for coughing outside. Yeah, that happened. You didn't see that? Yeah,
I work with kids. I should know.
Yeah, you should.
There's this one, it's called the Banana Sprite Challenge, which they think isn't going to last very long, but apparently you eat a bunch of bananas and then drink a lot of Sprite, and bananas don't digest very well, so when you drink a lot of Sprite right after eating a bunch of bananas, it like causes like stomach problems and could permanently damage your stomach.
But why do you do,
it's like the cinnamon challenge. It's like, why?
That was funny.
There was no reason.
Or when people like eat really, really hot peppers.
Yeah, the ghost pepper challenge.
Yeah, and then they're like crying.
Yeah. It's basically the challenger has to play a monkey role, eat half a dozen bananas, and then drink 1 liter of Sprite.
It's too many bananas.
Yeah. But it's
but then what? Like you just ate bananas and you sat there. Like there's nothing
like
visually
when people try
stimulating.
To drink a gallon of milk. You're drinking a liter of Sprite. It's gross. You're stuffing bananas, which, not to be that person, but they're phallic. People find that funny.
I guess. Okay.
Yeah. So they're like, eat them.
My problem is I'm not thinking like a child.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm helping you get there. The ice bucket challenge is just not like a healthy thing to do. I mean, it's not like necessarily super damaging, but if you're doing it in bad weather or you're doing it incorrectly, you could hurt yourself or exhibit like hypothermia-esque symptoms if you don't deal with it appropriately. There was the condom challenge where they would make water balloons out of condoms, but they don't break effectively and they actually like land so that like they can suffocate you because they don't break, but they will form the shape of your head.
What?
Or yeah, I've seen pictures. It's like really
that sounds crazy.
Dumb. Just like don't fill condoms with water and throw them with each other. They're not water balloons. They're for sex. They're supposed to not break. That's what you want them to do. So attempting to break them is not a fun game. Car surfing, which is terrifying to me. We saw this actually in the film. He was dared to surf the cop car where he was holding onto the back. Well, car surfing can be a number of things. It's holding onto a back of the car while a car does not know you are attached.
Skitching? Skitching? What? I want to say that's what it's called when you have like when you're on a skateboard.
Gotcha.
And you hold the back of a car.
Okay.
I think it's called skitching.
I believe that.
Yeah.
But and then you can also go on the hood. Or
people who would dance next to the open car.
That was like,
you know how many people do those like challenges where they're hanging out the window and then they hit something and they end up knocked out?
Yeah, that's not a good time. Lots of just like not thinking ahead kind of moments. There's a boiled water bucket challenge, which just sounds like a way to burn your body permanently.
Oh, right. The cutting for Bieber. I just saw a post about that and I totally forgot that existed. Apparently it was because Justin Bieber smoked pot. And so then a bunch of teen girls cut themselves in defiance of that or like an objection to that. And see, I told you Blue Whale.
Yep.
I mentioned that last time or the time before.
And I didn't know what it was, but now I do.
Bedeviled. It was last week.
It was last week?
Well,
was I there?
Yes. It was during Bedeviled and I said the whole teen thing.
Oh.
Or the week before.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I believe you.
And I was like, there's a real challenge that actually like causes kids to commit suicide and it's a Blue Whale.
Yes. So that is one that's like obviously the most deadly. The whole goal of it is that you're supposed to be you accept 50 challenges and at the end of the game you're supposed to kill yourself. And they're usually self-harm associated. So the challenges are all self-harm based. And then at the end, that's the bad word. The end. What you do at the end is end your own life. And it has taken lives and is very upsetting. And it should not be a challenge that children are participating in. Especially, just children don't understand like the finiteness of those things. Like in terms of like how the brain develops. We do not fully develop our brains until I believe we're like in our late 20s.
Yeah.
And middle school, teenage years, they don't know what tomorrow is. Their frame of reference is whatever is today.
Yeah.
That's why when you tell a middle school student, hey, we can't go outside today because this is happening, like for recess or whatever, but tomorrow we can. They're not even going to understand that tomorrow exists.
Yeah.
They want to go today.
Yeah.
Why can't they go today? Telling them they're going to go tomorrow doesn't help at all.
Because
it's just their brain is so focused on what is happening in the present that High School is Forever, the 17 Again movie.
Yeah.
Everything. It's just, that's literally what it is because they don't have the cognitive brain development
to see
to
the
see
future.
past that.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that when doing things like this and these kinds of challenges, that they're the most at risk and in the most danger, because they literally do not know what they are doing in terms of like putting themselves in danger. There's actually an app, this is the last one I'll talk about, but that mimics the Nerve movie, but it was not very well liked.
Yeah.
It was called Double
Dog.
Dog, and it only received 160 downloads from the Apple Store. Not to say it maybe got more on Android, but essentially operated the same, where you would film yourself completing a dare and people would pay you. And there were reviews for it, like it had like a 3.8, where some people like didn't get their money and were mad or like stuff like that. But it's a lot of the dares were similar, where your friends would decide what you do. So there's danger in that, because when you have the detachedness from a keyboard or from the screen, like you don't, that's not a person to you.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's your friend, like you're like, this is a game.
Yeah, but we
it's
still
not
make
real.
people dare, like, just in real life.
Yeah.
Like, kids do that anyway.
Yeah. So it just like kind of adds a level of detachment that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watch some films. Now let's talk about those.
So we watch some stuff.
Yeah.
As we do.
You have to laugh down. It's really good.
That's good. That's all I got. Yeah, we watch stuff. We watch Nerve, which if you're watching our YouTube channel, that is what we look like right now, is the Nerve people. The
V
Nerve of
and
us.
Ian.
So, Nerve from 2016 is directed by Henry Joost.
Yep,
Just,
that's right. It's Juiced.
And Ariel Schumann. It's a tag team effort. Here's what it's about. Ready? A high school A high school senior finds herself immersed in an online game of truth or dare, where every move starts to become manipulated by an anonymous community of watchers. Right. So
it's so douchingly charming.
It's me, douchebag Franco. I don't know why I get cast as a douchebag all the time. I'm really quite nice. So Nerve, here's what it's about. It's a truth or dare game, but not really. It's just really a dare game. There's never any truths.
Yeah. Gabe, are you a watcher or player?
Yeah, I'll be a player. I think.
I guess I mean, to fit character, I'm also a player.
Nice. Yeah. So the way that this game would work is you would indicate if you were a player or watcher on this app, and then people would watch you do dares that would start out pretty chill and lax.
Yeah. Kiss a guy.
Yeah.
Steal a bike.
Yeah, no, it was already up there because he's already done it. So apparently this has been going on for a long time. Like a year prior, it had happened in Seattle during this because he had done it. So the character Ian had done it previously, and spoilers, you know how this works. Yeah. Someone died. And so he is doing it again because the game pretty much holds you hostage. Like once you're in, you're in. So here's what's crazy. Like one of the first like parts of it that show how crazy this game is literally like in the beginning when she first starts playing.
Yeah.
Is she gets the prompt to kiss a guy at this diner. So she goes to the diner. She can kiss anybody at this diner. She sees hawk-eyed douchebag Dave Franco. And he happens to be reading her favorite book.
Yeah, so she's like, that guy is the nicest one to kiss. He's the poison dart frog prince.
Yes.
Grab his face. You won't die. It's a fun time.
So she kisses him, and then it turns out like some strangers gave him that book and told him to look like he was reading it. Mm-hmm. And the friend is literally like, that is because it is on your Facebook profile that is your favorite book.
Yeah. If they were going off of mine, it's everything I liked in 2011.
Yeah.
So like,
I don't even
super
know.
inaccurate. It's like Andy Grammer. Gotta keep your head up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of that. I liked optimism at that age. So before the world had gotten me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It had got a little bit, but not as bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was just inaccurate. So it's funny.
That is funny.
If they were picking someone for me and it was like,
no, like, what are you even doing? Yeah.
Dystopian children's novels.
The Watchers really like Dave Franco and Emma Roberts together because it's fun because he's the bad boy and she's a good girl.
It's different.
So
except it's a cliche.
They go and they drive and they do stuff. But the things that you're seeing in there is this like voyeurism, right? So it's like this idea that we are watchers, right? And that like we are affecting people's lives but have no idea and understanding of the direct consequences. Like that's not us. That's our online persona.
Yeah, we're complacent in it. We're just like, fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell my mom I did this.
Yeah.
It's like chat roulette where you go on and see
you do the things.
People's genitals without permission. That's the whole situation.
So
sorry,
it's okay. But it also is on top of the voyeurism, right? Because that's like she very in your face explains that at the end, where it's just like like you're doing this. Like, are you satisfied? Like, as they select that she will get shot, it was just crazy. And then there's like this whole like the big reveal at the end is that they hacked it and then showed everyone's real name instead of their screen name and said you're
accessory.
Yeah, you're an accessory to murder.
Which is effective, I feel like, for teenagers.
Yeah, because then it was like everyone like turned it off, but it was like this. The spread of it seemed really realistic to me because I was thinking like when we were watching it of the HQ app, which is a trivia app that you had to tune in during a certain time. It was live, and it was like 2 times a day. You had to tune in during that time, and everyone would play. But you would get like this beep on your phone, and if you were in a room full of other people who had it, like everyone would go off, and then you'd be like on it, and you're all live, do it, right? And you can talk to each other, like you can message in the board, and you would respond in real time, and it was like. It was such a wild experience where I was like, wow, this is like the craziest episode of Black Mirror I've ever been in. So, like when that was happening. And so this is totally believable. But it's also the idea of like our influencer culture too. Is like having the likes and being this persona online and needing that attention and validation that only you can get from the internet people, right? So she has a friend, V has a friend who's like very much that. Like I don't understand that dynamic of popular friend and nerdy friends. They wouldn't have made it through high school. This is just Megan Fox.
Are you in my brain right now? That's literally what I was thinking, but I was like, I don't know if it is though, so I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is that film?
Megan Fox, Amy Seyfried.
Yeah. Amanda Seyfried.
Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah. I forget. You know what I'm saying.
The one with the eating. She eats things.
Well, it's like that, where it was like popular hot girl and then
Jennifer's Body, and
he was a girl's name. So
I
don't understand that. I don't understand that dynamic of like it's a girl who is super hot and hangs out with nerdy girl. This doesn't seem right. I
know it does happen, but probably not as stereotypically and all the time.
Like if that's your only friend and she's
well, she had other friends.
Isn't a friend. Though.
Yeah, she had other friends, which was unique. She had like a guy friend. Who was the friend who's
yearning
always just
her.
A friend?
Yeah.
Always bridesmaid, not a bride.
There's a lot of that. A lot of cliches in there. But her friend is the one who's like very into this, and it has slowly been rising through the charts. But she's someone it is expected of, and so because of that, she doesn't really get as much like points because as soon as V starts playing, it's like everyone knows that she's just not that kind of girl.
Yeah, and so it's like
totally plays it up.
You have to like be along for the ride because she never does this.
Yeah,
this is gonna be crazy.
Yeah, and so I think it's just like to me, it really did feel like TikTok, right? It's like this whole idea of like you have these challenges, you have these views, and you're doing it, and you're trying to keep up. Like you're learning the dances, you're learning like the new thing, and you're trying to like mimic other people, but also stand out in a way that gets you more attention from people that you cannot see.
Yeah, who like you don't really know. Like
you
have
don't know
no
any of them.
Real validation from them.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like the endorphins released from like likes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so it's and I think we can all kind of relate to that now that we're all trapped inside, and that's kind of where we live now. And I mean, with like millennials who are trying to infiltrate TikTok, like it's so funny to see us millennials on there because we're like, how do we do this? I feel like an old mom. Like I'm just like, do the dance now. I'm gonna try to learn how to do it.
We're hot, right?
Yeah, no, it was so awful. It's funny, but and I think it is a fun film. It gets a little wacky at times, but it also reminded me, like when with the hanging challenge, is I was watching a YouTube video and it was like stuntmen react, and one of them is a parkour guy. Like he's like really, really well known in the parkour scene.
He's into parkour.
Yeah, parkour. And he was kind of like frowning upon those people who are more like adrenaline junkies who do those really crazy stunts, and they're like just like on tall buildings and they're moving around and they're doing stuff just for like in complete danger situations, as opposed to what he saw parkour as being, and that's like this challenge with your body of like to push it to the limit and to show how fast you can do it. And like doing it in this efficient way, right? Like we are just going, like you go really fast so that nothing is in your way, versus like I'm gonna do this crazy stunt for a bunch of YouTube bucks.
Yeah.
So again, please subscribe and like our channel. Would love some YouTube bucks. That's why I'm dressed like Dave Franco. But we did watch other things. That was a highlight. That was a good one.
This is my YouTube reaction. Woo! Thank you for YouTube bucks. I didn't know they have those.
Yeah, you get money from YouTube. I mean, like, if we got enough viewers and subscribers, we can get actual we can get a check from YouTube. This is what's happening. So we watched
I need this to validate me.
We watched 2 Black Mirror episodes, so we're gonna kind of go quickly.
Black Mirror, them. Shut Up and Dance. It's season 3, episode 3, and director James Watkins, because I can say words. So when withdrawn Kenny stumbles headlong into an online trap, he is quickly forced into an uneasy alliance with shifty Hector, both at the mercy of a person unknown. Persons unknown.
Yeah, so with this, it's similar, but a little different. It's more of a blackmail case.
Yeah.
Where he is sent a text from this anonymous number that says, like, we have footage from your webcam of you doing something you don't want people to know you're doing. And if you don't do the things that we're telling you to do, we're going to release it. So he, of course, does the things because it's very, very intense. So, like, at first, I remember when I first watched it, he kind of, at some point, he just says, like, he was masturbating on camera, which is, like, yeah, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, like, you don't want people to see that, but, like, what were the pictures?
Yeah, and that's what you find out and why he goes to the ends that he does. And the other guy, it was like, it reminds me of the Ashley Madison thing, right? That was a site, right? Where all the men were adulterers and essentially were like having affairs on this one website, Ashley Madison. And someone hacked the website and released all these names. And so people came, like there was politicians involved, there's all kinds of things. And so it's like something like that. Like if you were, if you were if you were involved in that, you wouldn't want your family to know. He's like, my wife will take my kids, this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so it's like the acts that you'll go through. And the whole point of that is that there is surveillance. And we've talked about that, right? Like they are watching you through your camera. And remember, do you remember that time when Anonymous was like threatening to do stuff?
Yeah.
And they were going to like release things, and maybe Anonymous is the one who did the Ashley Madison. I don't know, but they had, the V for Vendetta masks, the Guy Fawkes masks, and they just had that whole like thing. I'd love to see, Anonymous do literally anything. They were all talk. There was like a time when they were like holding people like hostage, but didn't do anything. But in this, what was like the spoilers, funny part of it is that no matter what they do, they still release it. Because
don't challenge Anonymous. They'll come for us.
Not me. Like the bad people. Like that's the whole point is that they're supposed to be.
All right. I just don't want them.
They're not gonna challenge us.
I don't want them to do it.
We're cool. I just mean like they were talking big about like getting the bad people, and then because that's the whole thing is that they're supposed to be like these heroes in the shadows, kind of thing. And that's the whole thing is like the people that we meet and see being affected by this like blackmail are like arguably like bad people. right? Like they do bad things.
Yeah. They got caught doing something they don't want people to know about, and generally things you don't want people to know about are not things that are socially acceptable.
Yeah. And like in this really like bad way. So, yeah, so they, you know, do that. But it's like, yeah, this one is more of like, you don't know what people are going to have on you. And that is the same thing as if you're putting your nudes on Snapchat or in the cloud and then it gets hacked and then they're out there.
Yeah. You know, it's like you don't know the permanence of kind of what you're doing. And
yeah.
It is very permanent if you put those things out onto the internet.
Yes. But we watched another thing.
We did.
Because I'm going to get through it. This is another Black Mirror episode called Hated in the Nation. It's also from season 3, but it is episode 6 and is directed by James Hawes. Which is funny because the last one was James Watkins.
Yeah.
So, in a near future London, police detective Karen Park and her tech-savvy sidekick Blue investigate a string of mysteries with a sinister link to social media. So this has a... what's her name? The princess. Scottish princess.
Oh, from
Merida.
Brave?
Merida. So it's a voice of Merida, but she's a person, not a cartoon. And she's not asking you if you had the power to change your fate, would she? She doesn't do that.
Yeah.
But she's a detective and she's cool. Kinda. She's like hardened detective who
she thinks she knows everything.
Yeah, who like kind of, you know, messes with the newbie and is just like, you don't know anything.
Yeah, and the newbie knew a lot of stuff.
She knew everything.
She knew everything.
Because she was tech savvy. And that was, I think, the thing. Is like she knew technology. She did tech before, and then she wanted to get her hands on the stuff. So this whole thing is that there is this tweet that goes out. And so people vote for who the worst person is at the time on social media.
#death2.
Yeah, so you'd say #death2, whoever it is.
You put a photo of that person.
Yeah.
And
then
name.
People retweet, and if whoever has the most, so the first one is a woman who would write these awful articles, like you know,
just like clickbait, kind of like cringy stuff. To like, she didn't care if people were mad about it; she just wanted the views.
Yeah, she just wanted attention, and like things like, you know, targeting people that we would see as like heroes or like, you know, people, you know, just stupid stuff. And it ends up that those people actually do die, and we're trying to figure out why they die. And the second one was like a guy who made fun of a kid who was dancing.
Yeah, who was like trying to like emulate the guy because he's famous, and he was like, "Oh, that kid's ugly. I look so much better than that kid.
That kid can't dance."
And
he was
dance
like on like an Ellen show.
Yeah,
and the kid was behind the scenes, and it was rough. And then the third one was actually like a girl who took a picture in front of like a memorial, like, and it made it look like she was peeing on it.
Yeah.
Which is like, how many kids take a picture at the Holocaust like places, or like at funerals and like take these crazy selfies?
Yeah.
Like Justin Bieber like took a picture where he was just like, sorry to Anne Frank, but like my listeners are forever or something, like he wrote in the book, something absolutely absurd. And people like totally like went crazy about it, reasonably, but like that happens a lot.
People lose their careers over it. I mean, lots of people. What's the actor who's YouTube famous? Logan Paul.
Going into the Japanese forest
off YouTube for it because he, you know, was being really disrespectful in there.
He was on movies too now.
Yeah,
stuff. But
temporarily,
he had some repercussions for his actions. But yeah, so we have like this like, but they're all these really silly, stupid reasons, and these people would just do the very easy #death2, right? And you just do it because you're separated from it. And we even have a character who like went in with like a bunch of other Twitter people and to buy a cake that called the person the B word and sent it to their house. Yeah. And so like that's a threat. And she like literally just did not see how that was a threat or that it mattered. Like she was just like, I didn't kill her. You can't, like, whatever. I bought a cake. Yeah, like, it said awful things. That person ended up dead. I tweeted that I wanted her dead, but still I'm not at fault. Yeah. And it's because that's how everyone sees it. Like your internet isn't real. You know, like you're not, that's not you, and you shouldn't be held responsible for it or whatever. And so then, you know, there's a big, you know, reveal about what actually happens. And it's like really scary because I can really see that happening and how easy it is to get kind of stuck in that, like, kind of situation where you're just retweeting or you're tagging things or you're using a hashtag.
Where you like don't fully understand what it is. And it's like, so
wait, I didn't want to spoil.
Lived a lovely, happy life.
No, I don't want to spoil that part.
Just kidding.
Because it's like the best like ending.
Yeah. Well, it's just like a lot of people do it. And people who like really aren't realizing the severity of it. Like some are probably kids. Some are like just people are like, ha ha ha. That's not real.
Yeah, it is. And the thing, like the other thing about it is like there's a character in there who explains that before Death 2, she had been harassed for like something that she posted or something that she was involved in. I forget, but it was very minimal. But it was that she said that she was being harassed by someone in the subway, and it turned out that person had a disability of some kind. And so then people lashed out back at her like, oh, you're awful because you like plaster this guy's name on it and he's not like, that's his disability. How could you? Yeah. And so then people like just anonymous people who never knew her like lashed out and
were so outraged,
told her that she should die and all these things. And like we've seen that with like when we talked about social media, we've done when we talked about reality TV. It's like this idea, like you can just do that, right? Like you can say whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And so it drove her to attempt suicide. Yeah. And she almost died if it weren't for her roommate. And so it's like this thing, it's like even before this like crazy sci-fi circumstance, like that is a very real thing. Like people do kill themselves because of things like that, or hurt themselves or put themselves in danger, not just because of the challenges, but because of the like what is happening on social media. So there's like a manipulation there of like just going with the flow and falling into the challenges and like the tweets and the hashtags. Like angry okay boomer right now. Like, oh, the kids with their hashtags and their challenges and iPods.
I mean, it's funny. Pete Davidson actually did a stand-up special on Netflix, which it's really funny. I was not expecting it to be as funny as it was hilarious. But he does this whole thing where he's like, he makes a joke about Twitter and he's like, Twitter, they can just decide who dies next or like, basically like whose careers are over. Yeah. And it's because like he got so much backlash on Twitter.
After Ariana,
and then just also from being on SNL and like getting jokes here and there that like were written for him that weren't always researched heavily, and he's just delivering them, but he has to do it and deal with the consequences of what follows. Yeah. So it's like it does not go on social media anymore because it was like so negative to his mental health. Yeah, but he makes a lot of really good jokes about that. In the way society operates.
Yeah. So, and there's that thing of like you like who you are versus who you are on the internet. And like we talked about that last week with Resurrecting, right? Is like you're not fully on the internet and who you put out there is not who you are, but it is what people are seeing. Right. And so like think about it.
Feelings. Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings.
So if you like it, it's player.
Okay, so we're the ghouls. We're on the internet. We're making TikToks.
If you have a social media account, believe it or not, you are actively playing the game that is social media, which is very big. It's much bigger than what we think.
Yeah. Like, you're also a watcher too. Yeah. But you're both. Yeah. If you're making content. Yeah. If you're like making videos. Even
if you're just like if you take pictures and it goes in your cloud, you're a player.
Yeah,
that's you don't know that, right? Like you might not even know that you are a player, but you are. Like that kind of thing. And if you don't like it, it is watcher.
Because you're now an accessory to murder.
Or you're accessory to like everything that's going on, right? Like you're disconnected from the reality, but you are actively affecting it, right? You're influencing the world without like really seeing how you are doing that. Yeah. So for the topic of manipulation through social media in the form of apps, so either making people players or making people watchers.
I mean, we do it.
Yeah.
So can we say it's bad?
I think
anything, if it's excessive, it's bad.
Yeah, I think, take into account your health, right? Like, don't put yourself into danger for likes and all that. Like, that isn't going to last forever. And, like, it is so hard to climb that ladder and so easy to fall.
Yeah.
Like, so quick. Like, that girl, like, was climbing across, like, a ladder, almost killed herself because she's afraid of heights, that they said it next to the technology.
Yeah.
Of course.
Google's listening.
Google's always listening. And so, yeah, like, as long as you're not, like, you know, going to that extent of, like, the whole, like, if all your friends jumped off of a, you know, bridge, would you do it? Like, don't. Right?
Yeah.
But the same thing with, like, being a watcher, too, is, like, taking into account that those are real people on the other side of those screens. And that it's not just you, right? Like, they're not nothingness.
Yeah, like, your words and your actions affect their life, even if you don't see it directly. Or it's like if you're just being mean to people on the internet, you're not benefiting anything. You're just being another bad thing in the world that already sucks. So, like, maybe don't do that.
Yeah.
Maybe be nice to people.
Yeah. And what about the films that we watched in the media?
They're fun.
Yeah, I liked all of them.
Yeah, I liked them all too. Nerf is just like, it's dumb, but it's a fun time.
It was fun. It's charming. Like, I think they play really well. It's silly.
And they're cute. It's just like a cute time.
Yeah.
You're like, everyone sucks, but it's also like fun.
Yeah. It's aesthetically really pretty. There's a lot of, like, cool neon, and, like, it's adrenaline, you know, junkie.
And it's real. Like, this could happen.
Yeah, I totally believe it. Like, I was like, it's kind of crazy, but also...
There was no doubt in my mind that could 100% happen.
Yeah.
In life, maybe has already.
Yeah.
You know? Like, people die from doing dumb stuff on the internet all the time.
Yeah.
So
I've seen so many people potentially have died on the internet just from, like, scrolling through, and you see, like, GIFs or videos that end right before you're like, did I just watch someone die?
Yeah.
Like, or, like, I have to, like, I'll go through the comments looking for someone to follow up and be like, they went to the hospital and they're fine, because I'm like, I can't sleep now.
Yeah.
I think I just watched a murder or a death, right? It gets crazy in there. But, and then, like, Shut Up and Dance isn't my favorite Black Mirror, but the ending, I was like, oh, and I do, like, you know, I mean, people get blackmailed all the time. And I think if you're not aware of your internet presence being watched, then you could easily fall into that. And Hated in a Nation is, I would say, honestly, one of the scariest episodes of Black Mirror that has ever existed. It, like, every single time gets me, because I'm like, that could happen. Like, that's real. Like, I could, and it's traumatizing. Like, it's so scary and so simple, because it's like every part of that is believable. Like, we would make, you know, nano bees to save the environment. Yeah. And the only way that the government would let us have nano bees that save the environment is if they were surveying you. Yeah. So it's like, if they can do facial recognition and find bad guys, because we know they already do it now, then they would do it using these things that are supposed to help us.
And, like, wouldn't America do it in a way that makes it seem like they're doing a wonderful thing?
Oh, yeah.
They wouldn't. Okay, so they're not going to, like, do it right in your face.
Yeah.
Because we have this whole morality pedestal.
Yeah.
That we got to act like we're the best people when we're the worst.
Yes.
So 100%, no doubt in my mind, everything in our entire history justifies and backs that up.
Yeah. And they're definitely watching us now, and they watch your social media. They're watching your TikToks. They're watching our TikToks, even the ones we don't post, because they are in our phones. They're listening all the time. They see the ones we wish no one could. But yeah, so that wraps up There's an App for That.
Yeah.
And so we'll be going on to something new and fun next week.
You're going to get to see us look different or hear our voices sound different.
Who knows?
It's just a fun time.
Maybe I'll be a man again. Maybe I'll be a blonde. Who knows what I'll be doing. If you're not watching us on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe.
The costumes are really fun.
Yeah.
Or we're just pretty.
Yeah, or Gabe just figured out how to do makeup for once. So don't get married.
They'll eat your kids.
Yeah. Or your kids will eat Tide Pods on the internet and then die.
Unfortunately, that's sad.
Choose your